Hey, sports card fans, it's John, Wade Boggs fan. Hope you're all doing well. One of my hobby goals for 2023 was to complete the Carl Yastrzemski Topps Playing Day run. And a little over a month ago, I was able to do that. Another one of my goals for the year was there are 4 vintage sets that I do not have a single PSA graded Hall of Famer from. Well, this card that I recently picked up is from one of those 4 sets. So I'm working my way to get one card from each of those sets, so I only have 3 to go. But this card also completed my Carl Yastrzemski basic set run on the PSA registry. Now, the difference between the Topps run and the basic run is that the Topps run has 24 cards. The basic run has 34 cards and includes the Donruss and Flair cards from the 1980s, plus one other card. And that was the one card I was missing, the one card that I just picked up. So I'm going to turn the camera around, show off that one new Carl Yastrzemski card, and I'm going to show off the entire basic run of Carl Yastrzemski. Now, since I did a video of the entire Topps run, I'm going to show the Topps cards that I have, but I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time with them. I'll focus more on the Donruss and Flair cards from the 1980s and the latest Carl Yastrzemski card in my collection. So let's turn the camera around and check out some Carl Yastrzemski cards. All right, my latest Carl Yastrzemski pickup that completes his basic PSA run is the 1963 Fleer. Check out that card. My first 1963 Fleer card of a Hall of Famer. Picked this up in a PSA 6. I've been looking for this card maybe for 3 months or so. And again, this is another set where these cards, it's hard to find centered, and when you do, they're usually PSA 7s or PSA 8s. But came across this PSA 6, won it in an auction. Man, if you notice, it's one of the newer PSA slabs, and I think I took advantage of them. Really must have been really nitpicky on those corners, because check out that centering. It may not be perfect, but boy, that is darn close. Just a great image of Yaz there. Always liked the 63 Fleer design. It's just one of those sets that I think a lot of vintage collectors may overlook. There aren't too many Hall of Famers in the set. I think there may be 10 or 12. But here's the back of the card. You know, the back centering isn't perfect. Again, they probably picked on that in terms of giving the grade that they did, but man, I think I really lucked out with what I had to pay for this card. It was, if I remember, it was closer to the high end of comps for PSA 6, but not at the, the top end, somewhere near that. But for the centering of this card, I couldn't pass it up. I was willing to spend closer to that higher comp price. Just love this 63 Fleer. Wow. So again, that completes the basic run. So again, I'm just going to run through quickly the Topps run and then get to the cards from the 1980s that I don't believe I've shown all together. So start off with the 60s. We have his Topps rookie there in a PSA 5. We have his 62 Topps in a PSA 6. His 63 Topps in a PSA 7. I'll put the 63 Fleer there, and then the 63 Topps. His 64 in a 6. 65, also in a PSA 6. 67 in a PSA 6. And guess what? I have his 67 in a PSA 6. His 68, I moved up to a PSA 7. As well as his 1969 in a PSA 7. All right, let's get to his 1970s cards here quick. Here's the 70 Topps in a PSA 7. The 71 in a sweet PSA 8. Love that card. 72 in a 7.5. $73 in a PSA 7. Is $74 in a PSA 8. Is $75 in a PSA 7. $76 in a PSA 8. Like that card as well. 77 in a PSA 7. $78, my all-time favorite set, in a PSA 8. And then the last card of the 70s, the 79 in a PSA 8. All right, moving on to the 80s, the 1980 Topps in a PSA 8. Now here's where we get to some of the basic set cards. Is 1981 Donruss, card number 94. I don't know. I like the 81 Donruss, the first year of Donruss. You know, the cardstock, there's some errors. It was their first year doing it. I don't know. I don't know. I happen to like the early Donruss and Flair sets. Bring back, you know, good memories. I remember opening packs of these cards when they came out. That certainly helps. There is card number 94. He also has a second card in the Donruss set, card number 214. This is the one where whenever I look at it quick, it just reminds me of Ted Williams. For just some reason, I know they didn't have the same batting stance. Carl Yastrzemski, if you look, he like leans in a little bit more, but just for some reason, when I see this card in the distance, I just, for whatever reason, I picture Ted Williams. This one has a slightly different back to it, just more of his highlights. And then we have his 81 Flair. Now this is card number 221. I have this in a PSA 9. Like that image of him. I love the backs of these 81 Flairs. Always have. I just, one day I think I want to try to get the complete 81 Flair set. So that's card 221 in a PSA 9. And there was a second card in 81 Flair, number 638. This is the 400 Home Run Club. Really like this card as well. And there is the back. I think the back is, it's pretty much the same, but you have just the different card numbers. Okay. But the same stats. But again, this is his base card, and then this one is celebrating him reaching the 400 home run club. All right, and then we end 1981 with the 81 Topps in a PSA 8. All right, on to 1982. We have the Donruss here in a PSA 9. Interesting image of him. Sort of a, it almost looks like he's trying to do a drag bunt. Interesting. And then here is the back with the blue and white. Again, there's just something about these early 80s Donruss and Flair cards that I really like. You got the bat and ball there for the player's name and team. Then we go to the 82 Flair. This is also in a PSA 9. This one has a little bit more color than the 81 Flair. Got the team logo there in color, and then that light blue border and the yellow there. Yellow really makes the allows the stats there to stick out there with the black lettering. There's the 82 Flair, and then of course we have the, which I've shown before, the 82 Topps in a PSA 8. Then we have the 83 Donruss in a PSA 9. Looks like he's almost doing infield practice, hitting the ball before the game to the infielders. At least that's what it seems like to me. And for the 83 Donruss, they moved to a yellow back there as opposed to the blue in 82. There's that. Then we have the 83 Flair in a PSA 8. This one has a somewhat plain, but they moved to a vertical design for the stats rather than the horizontal, so you can easily flip the card and see the stats of the player right there on the back. Look at all those stats. Long, successful career for Carl Yastrzemski. And then we have the 83 Topps in a PSA 9. Now there's one last card. There was an 84 Flair. I have this in a PSA 9. Now again, in some of these years, there are some subsets. There's like I think it's In Action from 1982 Topps. There's a commemorative one here, I think with Johnny Bench, which I'm missing, in 84 Flair. But this is his sort of technically last basic card, the 84 Flair. And again, you can flip this one around as well, just like the 83. This one has a little bit more color to it. They have some blue in there as well, but you can see the 83 stats are on there. 3,419 hits, 452 home runs, 1,844 RBIs. Well, there you have it, my Carl Yastrzemski basic set run on the PSA registry. Now, this doesn't mean that I'm going to stop adding additional Carl Yastrzemski cards to my collection. While it's not an official PSA registry set, I have put together what I call more of a master set. Includes some all-star cards, some league leader cards, and things like that. Still have a little ways to go there. I think probably over a dozen. Some of them are from the 1960s, so trying to find the right card in the right condition, price point, things like that. But there are a few more Carl Yastrzemski cards that I'm going to be adding to my collection as I'm able to pick them up. So with that, that's all I have for you. So until next time, thanks for watching.